The bird flu slash avian flu is here. So what does that mean? Well, I'll let you know what I think. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Alright, so this video is going to be a little different than previous videos that we have for you guys. I know that normally we like to film what we're doing for the day, some kind of project we're working on. So what I'm going to tell you guys might not be something that you're hearing here about the bird and avian flu. It might be a little different take. And it's something that I feel like I have this feeling that I just need to get out there and tell somebody. So I really hope that it makes a difference and hopefully changes one person. Because if I can get one person to kind of hear this message and hopefully change their life, hopefully they can do that to somebody else. And then it hopefully just starts this chain reaction. We have chickens here on our property. Ever since wanting to start our homestead, it was the first animal that we wanted to get. And I won't lie to you guys, we're not big news people here. We don't watch a lot of the news. We don't know until like weeks after it's actually going on. And people at my work knew that I had chickens, and then all of a sudden I started hearing more about this chicken flu, bird flu, avian flu, and it sounded familiar before. We've heard bird flu before, but I didn't know it was this big thing that was going on at the time, and people were wondering about, oh, what are you doing? What's going on? How are you protecting your chickens? And I was like, well, I'm not doing anything different right now. I started to look into it, and I'm reading articles about this bird flu going on. And I start seeing that hatcheries are having all their chickens killed because of a flu going around in one or two of their chickens that they had. I'm seeing people with their backyard flocks that had one chicken catch it, and all of a sudden all their backyard flocks and all their chickens and poultry that they have to die. The more I kept reading these kind of articles and these things going on, it was kind of unsettling. First, that's not how we handle humans. Why is it that if one person gets sick, we kill the whole house? That just doesn't seem like very humane. It doesn't seem like the right thing to do to try to stop the spread of something. People want to relate it to, oh, chickens and humans are two different things, but we're both living things here on this earth, and chickens have a big impact here on our life. You go to the store now and you want to buy eggs or you want to buy chicken, those prices are skyrocketing, and they're probably going to start running lower in production, and they might end up being out of stock in some areas because of these chickens having to be cold. If one chicken ends up catching this flu, and then you're doing everything to them. That's not really the message that I'm trying to get out of this video. I don't want to get too far into any of that stuff about it. But what that made me realize is now more than ever, if you ever had this kind of feeling or something telling you that you want to raise your own food or have chickens, and this is the time to do it right now. I mean, with food shortages from these past few years going on, and obviously that's what made a big difference for us, and that's what made us want to change the way that we were living, and why we own chickens, why we moved out to have more land, and why we just started here to start our garden and start trying to grow our own food. Is I just feel like there's been this thing going on these last couple of years, and there's been more shortages of food going on. Food's been changing, and I feel like we're missing the point of what it's supposed to be. And I would hate for us to ever end up having food shortages of certain necessities and food that we need for our bodies to grow. So what we wanted to do for us, you guys have ever seen Roots and Refuge on YouTube? It's a great YouTube channel, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. And she put this best, as we wanted to thrive and not just survive. I think a lot of times, especially with stuff and how it's been going on, is that, hi Chickadee, she just kind of wants to keep following me. What are you doing? Yeah, you're not going to be in this garden once I put the gate up. People do in these times of food shortages and things going off the shelves is they're just trying to find a way to survive for, oh, maybe a few weeks. We just survive for a little bit until it gets back. But wouldn't it be good that during those times, instead of having to just survive those times, you could thrive in those situations? And thriving doesn't mean that you made it past those 2 weeks, or it means that you never even had to flinch when something happens like that. And that's what we wanted to do here for our family, and that's what you guys should do right now if you feel that urge. Because with, like I said, with this bird flu going on, and who knows what the next flu could possibly be, or the next thing that's going on to cause more shortages of food or raises in prices, you want to be able to produce for your family in those times and thrive. And this is where I'm going to get at, where I really want you guys to focus in on. In order for things to really change, One of our chickens are singing the laying song. Buck, 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 buck. Rosie, you lay an egg? You laid an egg, Rosie? In order for there to be a big change in everything that's going on, it has to start at the individual level. And as soon as you're confident in doing stuff for yourself, that's when you can try to make sure that you're doing things good for your family. And then once families start to figure it out and families end up getting the way they need to be and figuring out what they need to do for themselves and how they can produce to make sure they're thriving, that's when they can help neighbors, other family members. And as soon as you start to help neighbors and neighbors help other neighbors, that's when you can build your community. And once communities start helping other communities, that's when the real change starts happening all around. And trust me, I hear you guys out, and you don't want to be those people that are the weird people who have chickens. The weird people who move away and you find your own way of living or doing something. A lot of people look at it and it's different and it's strange. They're not used to hearing it. This is a way to really help the way of living for everything. When I'm at work, I always hear people talk about how I have chickens, and I can just see their weird face about it, and they just don't understand it. And I think instead of asking more questions about it, they're more judging the situation about it. That's where we've really lost a lot of what's going on here in the world today, is that we stopped asking questions, stopped being curious, stopped asking, why are we doing this? What does that do? Why do you do that? Hey, what's that? And learning and being curious is the way to do things. And I kind of forget that myself sometimes. Sorry guys, I had to stop that important conversation. We found a turtle. You want me to pick it up? I'll pick it up from the back. Here we go, we got one of our friends here. Milo, it's a turtle. Leave it. He doesn't want to see us very much, he's hiding. And that curiosity that I'm talking about, I sometimes forget when I look at my 5-year-old. She is a very curious one, always learning, wanting to do what we do, being right next to us. And I feel like sometimes we discourage that just because it feels overwhelming. But I realize that that is something that we should not be doing. I mean, that is how she learns. That is why she does what she does, why she wants to be interested in something, why she likes something, why she doesn't like. And I feel bad now when I look back at these times that I've discouraged it from her, and I hope I try not to do that too much more, because curiosity is really what makes people grow. So I don't want her to ever lose that side of her. And for any of you guys out there who don't know much about the avian and bird flu, and I won't lie to you guys, I didn't know much about it till recently anyways. This is something that happens every single year. There's always avian flu going on and a bird flu going on and birds going across the country and migrating. But this year just seems to be worse than others. And whether people want to believe that what's going on with it, real, fake, I don't really want to talk about that too much. It's out there and it's affecting things. That's why I wanted to talk about it and talk about maybe trying to go out there and try to raise your own kind of stuff. But for those of you wondering now, what are we doing now that we know about the bird flu and how bad it is? I won't lie to you guys still. We're really not doing much of a difference than what we've already just always been doing for our chickens. One of the main things that you can do during this time is just make sure you're checking on them. Make sure that they're eating right, they're laying okay, they're not walking around funny, they're not getting pecked on by the other chickens for some reason, maybe indicating some kind of disease or flu that they have. And that's one of the main things you would always want to do for your chickens, whether the bird flu is going around or not. That's how you're always making sure that they're nice and healthy. And although I say that we're not doing anything, Milo, that's not your water, for the chickens. For me to say I'm doing nothing for the chickens seems wrong. We allow our chickens to free range here. They most of the time have the whole backyard, about 1 acre here to roam. They also have a long run that's probably about 1/4 acre that we took up for their backyard for them, so that they still had a long run, so that when we do have to lock them up, that they still have a big free ranging spot for the 9 of them right now. The reason that we do that is we feel like free range chickens is the way for your chickens to be the most healthy they could be. They can go and forage, get the grubs, get weeds, get leaves, get grass. We believe them doing that gives them the most balanced diet and nutrition for them, so that they can be as healthy as can be, so that when they do get a flu or get a sickness, they can fight it off better than if we were to have them closed in on a small run or stay locked up in their coop. I mean, realistically, one of the biggest fears that we have for them catching the flu is we have a lot of geese that fly by with a pond towards in the back of our woods, and maybe poop and wild birds pooping and it falling down to the ground here. But we're never gonna build a big enough cover to cover our whole 1/4 acre run that's gonna keep them protected from that. And realistically, we don't have the money for it. It probably wouldn't look that nice to do that, and we really just don't want to spend the time and effort to do it for them. I feel like I have more of a chance, like I said, if we coop them up to get sick than when we allow them to free range and allow them to get as healthy and a balanced nutrition as they could possibly get. So that's how we're taking into account what we need to do for them, is doing that so that they can be healthier to fight off any kind of flu or sicknesses. You ready to go down? Am I holding you too long? Hi everybody, meet Sunny. Sunny's my favorite chicken. All right, and that's everything I had to tell you guys for this. I hope that it reaches somebody out there. Thanks to White House on the Hill and Chicklandia, who I both watch YouTube videos about this topic as well. Them making their YouTube videos and explaining about it gave me that motivation to make this video and tell you guys how we feel about it here in our household. I hope this reaches you guys out there and hopes makes a difference in somebody else's life. But that's all I got for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope that you guys can go out there now and make a difference, hopefully in somebody else's life. You guys have a great day and a better tomorrow, and we'll see you in the next vlog.